Hello and welcome to another episode of Young Black Misses. I am your host, Morgane F. And today on the season 3 mid-season finale, I am talking to my mentee, Rhesa. She and I had a very honest conversation about being young wives, being young Black misses. And we took on topics such as, what's our purpose? Feeling like we're locked into a relationship. Yeah, guys, it got deep. She is a young wife and a mother of 2. So I can't wait for you to hear that conversation. So, you know what? Let's just get right into it. What's the wait? Shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. Shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. Shaking my curls. Now, I may have said this before, but I feel like it bears repeating. As a wife, I feel like there are times when you can get wrapped up in what your husband expects of you. And so I'm shaking my curls at, and we talk about this a little bit in the main event, I'm shaking my curls at those relationship norms. Like a wife does this, a wife does that. I'm going to tell you what, I ain't touched a dish. I couldn't tell you the last time I washed a dish, okay? Like, so if that's what a wife, quote unquote, does, I ain't a wife because I don't touch a dish. I haven't even unloaded the dishwasher. You understand me? Like, I just don't do it. But when you're in a partnership, when you're in a relationship, when you're equal partners, and you know that's not your strength, it's not my strength. It'll take him forever to cook a meal. It would take me hours to wash a dish because I'll be so mad I gotta wash the dishes, and then I'll be grossed out by putting my hands in the soapy, questionable water and not knowing what other food particles are in there. So I'm really shaking, and dishes is just one thing, right? I feel like cleaning is kind of a woman's thing, but we definitely take turns, not with washing the dishes, that's all on him, but we definitely take turns with doing the laundry and cleaning the bathrooms and vacuuming and sweeping and those things of those natures, getting the oil change, pumping the gas, blah, 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 all that stuff. But to think that there's one certain normal thing that women are supposed to do or wives are supposed to do, I shake my curls at that wholeheartedly. I don't agree with that. All right, guys, on to the next segment. What you chewing? What I'm chewing. Okay, so I am chewing on a tofu scramble burrito. So this is leftover tofu scramble that I had from the weekend. Going 2 days later, I'm using it. And so you're asking, what is in a tofu scramble? It's pretty much like you would do like an egg scramble, but you use tofu. So I have peppers, red bell peppers, green bell peppers. I have mushrooms and onions in here. And I put in a little Rhesa seasoning, and then I also added jalapenos, wish I had avocado, and taco sauce, and it's all wrapped in a burrito. My napkin is far away. What I like about this meal is that, as you can see, it's gotten several purposes. I made a lot of it on Sunday, and now I'm being able to eat it a few days later. I love the spice from the jalapeno. It might be a little too spicy, but overall, I'm digging it. So that is what I'm chewing. Let's go on to the next segment. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the main event. I have a special guest with me. Rhesa, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, I am so happy to have you on the pod. I will say to my listeners, I was like, this is weird because I feel like you're not that much younger than me or whatever, but like I was kind of like your mentor back in the day. We both went to Wilberforce University back in the day. I know I graduated from Wilberforce, but I think you continued at another university, correct?
Yes, I transferred to Central State University.
Which is literally just across the street, guys. So no
Yeah, it's
worries.
across.
Okay, well, tell my listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Rhesa. I grew up in Maryland. I was born in California. I come from 7 siblings. I'm the second oldest. So that was very cool growing up with a lot of people in the house. And I actually am married and I have 2 sons. And at Central State and Wilberforce, I majored in vocal performance. And I came out wanting to do musical theater and stuff like that. But things have changed, ever since. But I still like to sing. And yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about me.
I love it. Yes, I've always remembered you to sing. And I just can't believe you're a mom.
I know. I can't believe it either. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I have kids. This is crazy.
Yeah. I see
yeah.
pictures on social media and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like when you I think you were pregnant with your second child. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, you look so adorable. And I was just so happy for you. And I'm just happy to still kind of keep in touch with all the people that I mentored back in the day. I still keep in touch with you guys. So I feel honored to have that. Well,
yeah, Morgane did my hair. She did my hair while I was at Overfirst. She got me on the natural vibes.
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about it, but she was like, girl, you should try a twist out. And she actually did it for me. So I really appreciate her for that.
Oh,
she's amazing.
I remember you text me and be like, can you do my twist out? I'm like, yeah, girl. Okay. But now you got it. You got it. So you probably think about me sometimes when you twist your hair and you feel like, oh, Morgane. See?
Yes, I do.
That's impact. That's impact right there. Okay. Very well. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I know that, like I said, you're a little bit younger than me. I believe you're 27. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. I'm 31. So, I mean,
yeah, she's in the 30s club. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
You made it. Girl. And you said it's, and I'm married and you're a mom, but you got married fairly young. So I'm curious about that. I definitely want to hear about your love story and how you got married. I guess, young in the sense of what millennials think are young, because I don't know a statistic off my head, but I know like my grandparents, they got married at 18. My parents got married at 25. People just don't get married before until after 25 these days, just because of money. Really, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to hear a little bit more about your love story with Mr. Matthew.
Yes. So I did get married when I was 23 and he was 21. So he was younger than me. So that was interesting. So we met at a youth convention in Atlanta in ATL. And basically we both weren't planning to go, but I was going because my sister wanted me to go. I think it was, and my youth pastor. And then he was going because his mom wanted him to take his brother. So we ended up meeting because I was talking to one of my best friends. We were planning out what we were going to do because she was from Atlanta. She wasn't at the conference though. And he was just standing there. And I was like, why is that guy standing right there? Like, what, does he need something or what's going on? So I said that I was the one that turned to him and said, do you need something? But Matthew says my friend was the one that turned around and said something. He came up and he was like, hi, my name is Matthew. I think we're friends on Facebook. And I was like, I've never had like a guy introduce himself to me like that. And I think that caught me off guard. Like, wow, like this guy's very intelligent, gentleman. And so that really caught my attention. And then when he said he went to Princeton, I was like, huh? The Princeton Theological Seminary. I was like, okay. And then he told me his age. And I was like, whoa. So I'm still in undergrad and you're already in grad school. And I think at the time he was 20 and I was 22. So I was like, whoa, this guy has his stuff together. Like, I don't think I've ever met anybody like this before. So we took off from there at the convention, connecting and talking with one another. And you know how, the guy gets the girl's number, basically. He did get my number. He came to me and he said, I want to continue on, getting to know you, this friendship. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And it wasn't easy because we were long distance connecting and growing together, but we did. And then I went to school and he went to school and he ended up giving me a journal. And this journal was just for us to basically go back and forth with one another, just to see how each other, lives were going and all of that. And he actually wrote to me this little portion in it, and it said, I gave you this journal because I want these terrestrial pages to preserve the precious artistic treasure that emanates from your ever so rich wells of creativity and imagination, which inundates the world with new waves of hope amid discouraging deserts of despair. And then on the next page, he wrote, real practical. He wrote, do you want to be my girlfriend? If yes, check this box. If no, check this box. And I checked yes. I was like, yes, like,
Girl,
you have it together. But, you know, nobody really has it together. But I realized that he treated me in the way that I wanted to be treated the rest of my life, which is a queen. And I felt that way with him. So that's just a little bit of our story.
I love that, girl. That just put me in. I got a visual. I feel like I was with you when you read your journal. But now a journal, not text messages. He can't, you know, not just, he had to take it old school with the journal. Does he still write you letters?
I don't get letters much, but he still does use those big, because when I met him also, he had this vocabulary of words. He emailed it to me. I'm like, who does this? Like, who like writes out a list of words they want to learn and grow to? So he would always use, you know, big words to me. I'll be like, okay, I need to like start reading more because, but he doesn't really write too many letters anymore. Just he uses words.
Well, you said Princeton, so that might be that Princeton education with the large vocabulary. I understand because my husband is just like that with his illustrious languages. And I'm like, okay, honey bunches, speak English to me. What are you saying? All right, break it down. But that is beautiful. Okay, so so you said you met him at 20, you said, or were you 21? So it sounds like you got married relatively quickly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What was your wedding like? Did you have like a nice sized wedding? I mean, you have a big family, sounds like, so.
Yes, I do have a big family. It was a lot of people there. We didn't intend to have so many people at a reception, but my father, he's like, everybody come, like he invited everybody. So yes, we did have a lot of people. Our wedding was super long. I think my bridesmaids were like, so how long do we have to stand here? Everybody's feet. Everybody was hurting. So that it was a lot, but I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I actually sang a little bit. So that was cool. And we actually had we had his father do like a portion of it and my father, because they're both pastors. So we're both PKs. So you know how that is. Everybody's, you know, there. So everybody wants to be a part.
I understand. And that might have been a level of comfort for you just with having that in common as well. I just think that's wonderful. And I'm just sitting here thinking, when I was 23, girl, if I married the guy that I was with at 23, my God, no. It's just so important to hear that he demonstrated what you knew you wanted. You were very clear on what you wanted out of a spouse, out of a partner, and it's working out for you. And I think that's absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is working out. We're still together.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes, you mentioned singing, and you mentioned that a little bit. So we've mentioned that you're a mom of two sons under 2, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
So you're busy. So and also listeners, if you hear a little something in the background, don't worry. She's just doing her right now. You know, don't worry. So when it comes to balancing your goals with your family goals, how does that work with you and your spouse?
Yeah, so that is hard. I guess starting off, you know, not having any kids, it's great because you can kind of figure things out. But I don't think I was as serious, you know, as I am now of figuring it out. I knew that I wanted to do musical theater, so I would try to audition and everything like that. But I ended up being a K-3 teacher. So I was like, oh, like, I don't know if this ever is going to work out for me. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But the art, your creativity takes time and you have to continue to work at it and be patient with yourself. And so I'm the type that doesn't like processes. I like to get to the point. I don't like to be waiting around. Like, I need to know, like, am I going to be in it or not? Because if not, I don't have time for this, but I did try to do my best to be patient with myself and realize where I was. So I did do the K-3 teacher thing. And then I ended up giving lessons, piano and voice. And then we also had like a dance portion as well. So I did that in the process of like trying to audition. But then with the musical theater thing, I realized, okay, like I'm not so much of a dancer, so I'm going to probably move away from this, but I still love it though. And then once we had kids, that's when I started like really being intentional about like, what do I really want to do with my life? And then we moved to Florida. We were in Maryland and we moved to Florida. And I had a lot more time on my hands to really think about things. And then, of course, the pandemic happened, and it was like, I have a lot of time. And so I was pregnant with Martin. And every person that has ever been pregnant before, you know, like your emotions really get to you and you just start crying about anything. And I was starting to cry about, I had moments where I was starting to cry about, what is my purpose in life? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? And my husband would be like, Rhesa, like you're doing excellent job. You're doing what you're called to do. And I just didn't feel that way. I was like, you know what? I want to be an actress and I know it's going to take time. We ended up getting counseling, and our counselors told us, write down your goals now, your goals 5 years from now and 10 years from now. We ended up doing that. And of course, you know, you don't see things right away, but I've started to see, you know, some of my things that I set out to want to do come to pass. Like I'm about to start taking acting classes, and I have an agent now. So I'm seeing things line up, but I know it's still going to take time, especially with kids and making sure they're taken care of during this pandemic time. We don't want people taking care of our kids really, but we do want to make sure that we do still reach our dreams and reach our goals. So we really understand that we have to communicate. Communication is at the top. That's at the top for me with relationships. I have to communicate with you. You have to be hearing me and I need to be hearing you. Now, of course, sometimes we miss each other and that's okay. But I try my best to communicate with Matthew. Look, this is what I'm reaching for. This is what I want. And I feel like he has been hearing me. Sometimes I feel like he hasn't, because we've had moments when he's like, Rhesa, did you really want to get married at the time that you did? Because you're seeming like you wanted to go out to LA. Like, I'm like, no, I want all of it. Like, I want to be, you know, successful in this. I want the marriage. I want the kids. Like, I want all of that, but it's going to take time. So I can't be upset in the fact that it's taking time. So that's the hard part for me, but it's also, okay, just remember to take your time. And my prayer life, that's also helped me figure out everything and give it to God. And like, okay, Jesus, I'm giving it to you. I've cried about it. I'm good now, you know, and talking to friends and family about it. That's also helped me too. So yeah.
Okay. You said a lot. So I'm just trying to unpack what direction I want to go into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good information. Okay. So you said, like, you were saying to Matthew, like, what is my purpose? You know, what is my purpose? And I feel like this is some conversations me and my husband have, like, when it comes to being a wife, but you still are a woman, you still are a person, you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like and you're a mom, and a young mom at that. I feel like you could find yourselves being like, well, what am I meant to do? Like, maybe because it all kind of happened relatively quickly. And I'm just speaking from my experience, like getting married, and then just, you know, for me, it's like home ownership, and then it's like, now I'm working this new job and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of happening. And then life is just happening, you know, around me. So it's kind of like, okay, what is my purpose? And I love that you said, you know, initially, just for me, it would always start in prayer. And I believe we're on the same tip with that. And so I just loved hearing that component of it. But I'm going off, so sorry. But I do want to know, like, when it comes to being a wife, do you ever think of yourself like, when did I know I wanted to be his wife? And what does being a wife mean to me? Because I'm still struggling with that. And literally, and I'll let you think about it while I'm talking through it.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, when I initially started this podcast, that would be the first few episodes of this podcast. Would be like, oh, I don't feel married. I don't know what this means. Like, and now I'm like, what does it mean to be a wife? Like, what? So let me hear what your thoughts, and then we can dialogue back and forth, because you brought that up, which made me think of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is hard when you're young and figuring it out. Like, what did I just do? Like, what what did I just get myself into? But I think it starts at home, and where I grew up. My parents, they got married young. They've been together, I think it's 32 years now. So I had that example of seeing like a family and the family staying together. I would go to school and they would be like, how many siblings do you have? By the same parents? And I'm like, yeah, it's the same parents. So it's just that example for me really stood out. And I wanted that at a young age. I wanted a husband, I wanted kids. But like you said, actually stepping into it, it's a different thing. Like, do you have a plan as far as like, what are you making for dinner? When are y'all having kids? Like, all of that needs to be discussed. And it can be a hard road sometimes, figuring out and navigating, like, what was my, did I really want to do this? Is this something that, we can continue to work through? It can get to that place at times. But I think that I really knew when, just at a young age, I was just like, I really want to be married. Like, I love what that looks like. And when I found that person that treated me, like I said, like a queen, I was like, oh yes, like this is what I want. And so I went after it, and I was like, yes, because it's a choice. You don't have to do it. You don't have to get.
No,
and I think
yeah.
that's the problem too, that people think that they're locked in, and once you're in, because you have wives that stay at home with their kids, and they're called stay at home mom, and that's nothing, and what are you doing with your life? Like, you need to go out there and pursue your dreams. But if they want to stay at home, that's okay. And I think I had to get through that hump too, of feeling like, oh, like I'm just here for my husband and supporting his dreams and goals. Sometimes in marriage, that's how it is. You're supporting them, and then sometimes they'll be supporting you. And I think I had to work that out a lot in our marriage. I had a hard time with that sometimes.
Which brings me into my next question about exploring your identity. You're just floating right into my thoughts. Yeah, what you're saying is making me think. Like, for me, and I feel like podcast listeners probably have gauged this by now, because since they've heard my husband on here. My husband's a very, very quiet guy.
Okay.
He's a very shy guy. Not like the guys I used to date. He's just very different from the guys that I used to date. And that's was attracted to me because it honestly, parts of it reminded me of my father, but also parts of it reminded me of my grandma. And that sounds weird. But I think the thing that attracted me to my husband was the fact that I knew that he was going to be supportive of my dreams, and that I was going to in turn be supportive of his dreams. Right. And I think that as a wife, sometimes we get lost in our spouse's identity, and we kind of lose who we are, especially as women. So I'm curious, have you faced that? I personally have not. I'll be frank, because like you're gonna get Mo B, you're gonna get Mo Free. You know what I'm saying? Like, same old Morgane, smack the E on the end of it. We still up in this piece. You know what I mean? But I just feel like there's times where you feel like you may need to fall into a wife role. I'm cooking the dinners. I'm cleaning the dishes. I'm making sure the house is beautiful. But like, what do I want? So can you relate to anything like that?
Oh, yes, I certainly can. I am like what you said, I am what you said, something about you're free. Like you said.
Oh, no, I said I'm Mo Free because my name is Morgan Freeman now.
Oh, yeah, Mo Free.
Yeah, that's what I call myself.
So basically you're free to be yourself, right? Like you're in the marriage, but you're still yourself. And I think I've definitely had moments where I feel like, oh, I have to get dinner on, or I have to make sure the house is clean. I've always had moments like that. But I think it's who you're married to. If they don't allow you to be yourself, that's not good. And I think that my husband does do that all the time. He encourages me, like, you're doing a great job, and like, thank you for getting this done. Now, he has joked around before, like, you millennials, they don't really cook or whatever, when I'm just having my times where I just don't feel like cooking, or I don't feel like doing, a lot around the house. He's like, millennials, y'all don't really. I'm like, Matthew, calm down. Okay.
Is he a Gen X?
Is he? He's 25.
Nah, he's probably still a millennial. I don't know off the top of the thing. If he was born before 96, I believe so. Look, we going on a tangent.
Yes. I think he is, but he was just joking. But still, even if you're don't do that to me, because listen, this is how I am. If you say something to me like, oh no, you're not gonna do that, or I will get it done. I don't play. I'm like, no, I can do it. Like, I'm gonna figure it out. But I have had those moments where I just feel like it's a lot and I'm trying to take on a lot. But I'm the type of person too that I'm not going to sit on, my dreams. I'm not going to sit on what I actually want to do. If I want to go out and get that massage, I'm going to go out and do that. If I need to go take a walk, I need to take a walk. So I think I'm pretty good at balancing, time for myself and figuring out what I want, and then also digging into the family life. But yeah. I am a family person. I'm a family person. So I love that family time. And I love, making sure the house is together. I don't always love to cook, but I love when it tastes good and it turns out right. So that's what
look, don't we all? It's all about the food for me. It got to taste good. I love it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Couple more things I wanted to touch on as far as, being a young wife. I saw something online the other day where they were talking about how people have you have a big family, so you may relate, but like people have group texts and like they talk to their group text every day, but they're not their family. They're like a group of friends that they talk to every day. And I just can't relate to that. I'm just to be frank. Like when I first got married, it was really a lot just about my husband. And I used to jokingly say we are Velcro. Because we're always together, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, oh, we're Velcro. We're, we're always together. And so he kind of became my best friend. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. But I remember, and I said this on the podcast before, but I remember having a friend that I was talking to, and I was upset about something. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what I was upset about, but I was upset about something. And I reached out to her, and then she tossed it back on me and was like, well, that's what your husband's for. That's your main source of support. So how is friendship intermingled in your marriage, in your relationship? Well, let's start here. Do you consider your husband your best friend? And then we can get on to the friendship component of it.
Yes, I do consider my husband my best friend. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, I tell him everything. I think I tell him usually always what's on my mind. So I'm thankful that I can consider him my best friend. Yes.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to your girlfriends, like how has that relationship, has it changed? Has it grown stronger? Or do you think it's kind of stayed the same?
I think it has grown stronger, but it's hard to, keep the conversation going sometimes, or it's hard to stay in contact, I would say, because, everybody's busy and you have to find time and it's hard. But I still have best friends, that I talk to and connect with. And I think it's important to do that. I don't think you should lose your friends just because you're married. I think that's hard, because then it's like, who are you going to really connect with? Like, who are you going to have some girl time with, And so I think it's important to keep your friends close, because then it's kind of like that whole like isolation thing. Like, did they isolate you? Like what happened? I don't know if you've seen Sisters, the show with the 4 friends, but the one girl, Andy, the guy she was dating, he was going to take her out to like an isolated area with like in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And she was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to be here Like, I want to be in the city with my friends, you know? So you have to talk about that kind of thing. Like, are you willing to do this? And do you think that it's okay to have, I know this is a touchy topic for married couples, to have like of the same
Opposite
sex, I mean
sex.
opposite sex, yeah,
Ooh,
friends.
that's a good question. For me, we both have a mutual friend, like it's a guy, and we both have he's both our mutual friend. But like low key, I'll be texting him more than my husband does, or he'll be texting me more. But it's not, it's nothing like that. And so
Right.
I really think that depends on like the relationship. And that was another thing that my friend had said about friendships. Like if she said, well, there's really no need to have, I feel so bad. I talk about her a lot on this podcast and I never mentioned her name. I'm so sorry. But like, she has good content, but she's like, I don't think you should have the same sex unless, he's gay. And I was like,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
okay, like,
Mm-hmm.
we can be a little bit more mature than that. I think that it's possible to, I think that it's possible to have relationships with same sex or different sex, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
without there being conflict in your relationship, because in my mind this is just something I feel like we can't. There are things that you can tell a girlfriend, but there are things you can learn from a guy friend. Or
Yeah.
there are things you can learn from a girlfriend, but there are things you can learn from a guy friend. It's just a different perspective that, that if you're not open to have conversations with people of the different sex, then you're not going to be able to, know. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there's like my husband's kind of close with a couple of my cousins. And so it's nice to have that they have that camaraderie and he feels like he can talk to them about things. And I think that only adds to our relationship, especially if we're coming from different perspectives, so
Yes.
what do you think?
Yes, I think, like you said, you guys have the same friend, that's the like the same guy friend. I think that's cool. I just think as long as you know who they are, if because there's some, I feel like married couples that you don't know who their friends are.
Yeah.
You don't know, like, oh, like you're friends with her, or you're, and it's like, what's going on with that? Or some will keep their best girlfriend, when they're married, and that's when I think that it's kind of like, well, I'm your best friend now. That's, but I don't think, as far as like work relationship, or if you knew them from school or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's, and you're having conversation here and there, like how's everything going? How's your family? Like that kind of stuff. I don't think
Yeah.
that's bad, but just, how deep are you going? Like, you have feelings for this person, flirting and stuff. That's when you gotta catch it and be like, no, 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 no.
I
That's
understand. Yeah, because I have like one of my college boyfriend. I still keep in touch with him. Literally every time he texts me, he'll be like, "How are you?" And he's like, "Tell David I said hello." Like he'll acknowledge
Mhm.
him, So it's not anything like like that. I don't whatever. So I just feel like it's a maturity level, and I just feel like some people aren't to that level where they can feel like they can trust the person to be able to have a conversation with them. And then I think that there are certain groups of friends. Like you have your married friends and you have your single friends, and then your single friends think you're lame because you're excited about your tablescape and not, you know, anything else. I don't know. That's a personal experience, but like that was a challenge for me. Just seeing the difference it is. But now a lot of more of my friends are married, so I think we're coming up there. So it's all.
Yeah, I think that's important, to get some married friends. When you become married, get some married friends, connect with them, and yeah, you'll be good.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't done it in a while, but I used to do a game night. Well, I haven't done it in a couple months. It's been a lot going on.
Hmm.
But who knows? Maybe we'll have you at the game night if you want.
Oh yeah,
But,
that'll be fun.
it would be virtual, of course. So
Right? Because
that's the world
yeah,
we're in. But
I
all right.
know.
Speaking of virtual, I don't know when you started this YouTube channel, but you've got a YouTube channel with you and your husband. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's called Staying Up with the Quaanudes, and I have been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a minute now. but I guess I just got the guts to do it because I was scared to do it. I was like, oh no, like people aren't gonna care or watch it. And caring about like views and likes and all that, it can get in your head.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. But then I'm having fun with my family and I wanted to share that. And so we just wanted to share, our lives and just how we're always up. We're always doing something with our kids. We're always going somewhere. We're always, my husband's a pastor, so we're at church. We're just always doing something. So I was like, I just want to share that and connect and grow with people and see what other, moms out there are doing. So yeah, that's kind of why we started
love it. I will put the link to your YouTube channel in the show notes, of course. And as we are wrapping to the end of the chat, I cannot let you go without a roaring game of marry, date, or dump. This is a made-up game.
Okay.
But I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna give you three I guess topics or three things. I don't know. Let's just go with that. And you're going to tell me which one you'll marry, which one you'll date, which one you'll dump. Okay. So I'm going to use the example as the first one. Nordstrom Rack, Macy's, or Kohl's. Please tell me you have all these things out where you are.
I haven't been to the Nordstrom Rack out here, so I'm looking for that. I'm like, where is it?
Okay, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, good. You know what I'm talking
about.
Yes,
but I know what it is. Yes. So you said Nordstrom Rack,
Macy's, and Kohl's.
Okay, so say which one I would dump or marry for each one of them.
Which one would you marry? Which one would you date? Which one would you dump?
Okay, so I would marry Nordstrom's. What was the next one?
Macy's and then Kohl's.
I would date Macy's and dump Kohl's.
Good answer. I don't really see Kohl's popping off. Kohl's used to be my spot back in like elementary, maybe going into middle school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like JCPenney's couldn't be on the caliber, so I just didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, and Kohl's also has some nice stuff for like your home. I think that's good too for Kohl's.
I guess I didn't think about
that. But it's expensive though, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Stick with Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Ross for the home stuff.
There you go. I love it. Okay, let's talk a little about accessories. So earrings, hats, or shoes. Which one you marrying? Which one you dating? Which one you dumping?
That's a good one. So earrings, marry. Hats. I'll have to date hats because you need hats for the bad hair days or whatever you want to call it. And then dump shoes.
I'm surprised you didn't marry hats. Like half your pictures got you in a hat.
I know, but I love earrings. When I was younger, I used to cry if I didn't have my earrings on. I used to be like, where are my earrings? I have to have, but now I'm not so bad with earrings. I'll go without them, but so maybe I would switch that, but I love earrings. So.
I'm embracing the hat because I feel like you're right. Like the hat, I don't know. It's like, it gives me fashion. You know what I mean? That's what
Yes, it does. Yeah, that too. Yeah, not even if your hair is so crazy, but yeah,
I need
for the fashion.
Exactly. I need to up my hat game, but I keep earrings. Like I love a good earring. So no, I would agree with you at what your initial stance was. Earrings would be married. I'd probably date hats and shoes, because that's how I play the game. Okay. Yeah. Now we're talking about just like looks here. A bold lip, some braids, or just all natural. Which one you marrying? Which one you dating? Which one you dumping?
Marry the braids. Date you said lips?
Yeah, bold lip or whatever, lip gloss, lipstick, whatever.
And then what was the other one?
Just being all natural.
Okay, yeah. So I'll dump the all natural, get the lipstick.
What? We're not embracing the natural beauty?
Yes, from time to time, but it's always nice to have a nice lip and some braids. I love me some braids. I would have that all the time.
Yeah. I'm thinking I don't ever have braids, so I'd probably dump that. I'd probably marry the all natural. Because I'm not even that girl anymore. I was looking back at old pictures. Morgane, you were really jazzy, back in the day. I'm like, you've let yourself go. And I'm like, I need to pick myself up. I mean, I'm just 31, I'm not 51, Okay.
Right.
Last question. Family time, me time, or friend time? Which one are you marrying? Which one are you dating? Which one are you dumping?
I'm married, family time, me time, date, friend time. I have to dump that one. But I would actually want to marry it, but I know you can't choose it. Can't do that.
You can do whatever you want. It's your game.
Girl, okay, yeah. So I'll marry friend time and me time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably date them all. I can learn something from all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. I've really enjoyed this conversation. It was good catching up with you. Like seeing you on the gram or Facebook, I guess, is like a lot different than seeing you in person. So
yeah.
So listeners, we're going on to the positive tip, but Rhesa, you stay there.
All right.
I absolutely love that honest conversation that we just had, and I hope you enjoyed it thoroughly. And I want to offer the positive tip, which could also lend to a shaking my curls. I knew someone that said a marriage is a business partnership. This person is still single, not married. They might have a relationship. But anyways, there's no time to be petty. My point in saying that is, from that conversation, I understand that me and Rhesa are in the same agreement. A marriage, a relationship, is a partnership. It is not a business agreement. It is a partnership. It is understanding that I'm going to be supportive to you and you're going to be supportive to me. And I loved it when she said that, because I really vibed with that. And I wrote that down in my notes as well. And that resonated with me. So I do not believe that it is a business agreement. There's love, there's partnership, there's, intimacy within marriage. And I think that once you find that person that can provide all those things for you, treat you like the king or queen, whatever, that you are, that is powerful. And as I close out part 1 of season 3, I just so appreciate each and every one of you for listening this season. I know this format was a bit different without a lot of solo episodes and just hearing me talk. But I really hope that the conversations that I've shared with each of the women that have been on this podcast have really been valuable to you. And if you gain value from any of this content, please make sure you subscribe so you do not miss part 2 of season 3. Share with a friend. And if you're behind on some episodes, catch up. You got a little time, because your girl is coming back on my anniversary, September 2nd. We'll be back, baby. We'll be back, so stay tuned. And you can always catch me on Instagram, Young Black Misses. If you're feeling like you want some food and all that good stuff, catch me out on my Try It Out Tuesdays, or check me out on YouTube, Young Black Misses on YouTube as well. I'm really getting that platform going as well. So thanks so much. Once again, thanks so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave me a 5-star review in the meantime. And go back and listen to some of your old favorite episodes. Get into it. I think I had mentioned a few, about what's it like to be married and friendships and marriage. So go back and listen to a few of those episodes from the first season or the second season or whatever, and share with your friends. That truly helps me as a podcaster. All right, guys, until September 2nd, I will say the second best day of the year, because my birthday is probably the best day of the year, but y'all know what I mean. See you guys September 2nd. Talk to you guys September 2nd. Peace.